So, growing up, I would consider myself an anxious person. I think this is what usually people will just trauma dump, but I firmly believe that it turned me into an individual that can be confident because I was anxious. And at least what I mean from that is I grew up playing sports. It was cross country, soccer, track, and before that, I really liked STEM. I really liked science, I liked math, and it's because no matter how you did it, it always ended out the same way. Like there was a result, it was always clear what the result was supposed to be, and it was consistent, right? And as you get further along in your math journey, you'll find out that there's different ways to do the same thing, but what you expect your results to be is usually pretty consistent. And I like that, right? You like it when you do something and it always turns out the same way, right? There's no degree of randomness when you're doing your math, right? Like even statistics on the study of randomness, it's like how likely is something going to occur? Doesn't mean it's going to occur every time, but the likelihood remains the same. And the likelihood might be conditional, right? You do something, it changes as you take those results. But if you're in that hypothetical scenario and that under those particular circumstances, the thing is so consistent, which is just a big way to say that consistency is nice, right? Something in which no degree of randomness is ever going to be able to change the outcome is nice. Something in which, beyond a reasonable doubt, is consistent is nice. And as you get older, at least what I've experienced so far, is you learn to be able to tolerate a greater amount of uncertainty. So you start to frame things like it's not the end of the world. If I get into one car crash, I can trust my car. It's not the end of the world if I stutter at a light and I almost get run over by a car because life goes on. Thankfully, I got to live another day. I can't control if there's a crazy driver on the road. It's going to run me over when I get in my car, but I get in my car anyway. I go outside, I go on a walk anyway. Anytime that I think I could have a brain aneurysm, something random could happen, very unlikely, but it could just all be over. Anytime I replicate cells and I live to see another day, there's a chance that those replicated cells are going to turn into a cancer cell and my immune system's not going to catch it and I'm going to die. But I live on anyways. I don't know what day is going to be my last. I sometimes have bitter relationships with people and I don't repair them, I don't fix them because in the moment maybe I believe that it's not worth it, but I might never see that person again. I just don't know what's going to happen to them. I can't predict the future, and that's something that people learn to live with. But in terms of what that might mean as an anxious person is like you deciding your uncertainty is realizing that there are certain things that are outside of your control, and if you decide to worry about them or if you decide not to worry about them, that worriness, that feeling might not actually produce anything of fruit. It might not actually change the circumstances or your outcome. It might just only change how you feel about it, how you perceive it, right? You ever heard of the thing like if you worry about a test and you do well, you suffer once. If you don't worry about a test and you do well, you never suffer. If you worry about a test and you do poorly, you suffer twice. And if you don't worry about a test and you worry, then you suffer once. So the best way to minimizing suffering is to not worry. And of course, easier said than done. But what really helped me break out of my shell, at least like when people told me like failure or control the controllables, all that thing, is just to practice, right? To put yourself in situations which are strenuous and then you try and try again and you start to get a gauge of what you can and cannot do. And of course that power of belief, like it's nice to feel like you can do more than you can, to believe that you can win no matter any circumstances, but that just didn't really work for me. I preferred being able to work within my capacity, right? If something comes easy, that means you're not pushing yourself. So I knew there was a time to push yourself and a time not to push yourself. And that is what made track nice for me. I'm like, it's the same. I run the same mark. I run the exact same way. Like these conditions are super consistent. And I know that I can perform under these circumstances because I've done it a million times before. And I never got to get to that point in soccer. I was always nervous and unsure of myself, and systems changed and the circumstances changed a lot. And there's so many plays, and I didn't feel like I spent enough time for me to be able to see any situation and have an idea of what I was supposed to be doing, or I had enough faith in my own execution. I just knew where I was supposed to be and what the next course of action was supposed to be, but I didn't really know how to execute it because I didn't have trust in my body and the amount of skill that I built up over years and years and years. And that's just because I never put the time into it. And that says a lot, right? That you don't execute, that you are able to play a game for so many years and not get better at it because you need intention behind that. And I had to turn that anxiety, that worry that I would fail into something meaningful. Like I need to try, right? I need to prove to myself that this is something that I've done before and I need to put myself in a scenario where I can do it before, so that then I'm comfortable when I'm actually doing it. So I don't know if that made any sense, but basically, life gets easier as you do it. Keep living, keep experiencing, and even though I wish that I tried more things when I was a kid and I was more open and receptive to failure, ultimately I got where I needed to be. And I'm still not at a point where I'm super happy with failure. I don't like doing poorly in my classes. I don't like doing poorly in anything, honestly. I don't like looking stupid. But it's okay. And it gets better. So I try to keep this one short because I have places to be. But yeah, I hope that makes sense. Okay. Bye bye. Control what you can.